Hi everyone, I'm Helen. I'm location leader at Forge Debenham. Today I'm going to chat with somebody, so I'm just going to let him into the room. I'm going to admit him and hopefully we will see where he is. Are you there, Thomas? Yay, there he is. Hi, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello, how are you?
Brilliant. Good, thank you.
Good, good. I'm just going to move you so I can see you like that. Fantastic. Thank you
Brilliant.
for joining me today. I've already introduced myself and I know you really, really well. But would you just introduce
Yes.
yourself so folk know who you are?
Yes, so my name's Tom. I live in Stowmarket. I'm 20. And usually when we meet on a Sunday, I usually see me around Forge First and when I'm in the area.
Great. Thomas, is it only me and your mum and dad that call you Thomas? Does everyone else call you
Yeah,
Thomas?
it's ever since growing up, it's always been Thomas, but then it sort of started moving away from Tom, but I don't let family call me that.
Oh, that means I feel like family because I call you Thomas as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. Tell me, what is lockdown looking like for you? What is it like in your house? I know you are living with like 3 women. What is it like?
Yeah, we've gone from all being apart to having 5 adults back in the house again. Um, and so far, it's been quite pleasant. We've done things like puzzles, and we've done quite a lot of quizzes. So we have someone do a quiz like every other night. So far, it's actually been quite enjoyable, but we've only been on week 2, so we've got a while
Oh,
to go.
that sounds great. That does sound really great. Now, I know that you are a student. Can you just tell us like where you're studying and what you're studying?
So I'm studying applied theology with youth and community work down at Moorlands College, which is in the Bournemouth area.
Okay, and so like so many students at the moment, obviously what's going on across the world has affected you.
Mhm.
And I know this would actually be the Easter holidays, but just tell me like what has the effect on lockdown been to you as a student?
So because I study applied theology, we tend to do a lot of placements.
Okay.
So during this time, I would have been on a placement, and I was actually overseas at the time doing my placement at church out there. But unfortunately, with everything that was going on, I had to kind of quickly get home before all the restrictions and the lockdowns came into place, because I was still being out there by now. Um, and yeah, it was just getting back because they were coming into place while I was out there, and it was a bit of a worry to see if I might not even be able to get home. So for me, I had to get home as quick as possible before everything kind of locked down, and I wouldn't be able to get home.
Okay, so I know you had a little bit of time out in the States, wasn't it, where you were
Yeah.
at Saddleback? So just tell us a bit about what that experience was before it had to be cut short. What you learned, what you were doing while you were out there.
Yeah, so I was working with Saddleback, which is a mega church out in the States, and they have a lot of campuses across Southern California and worldwide as well. And I was working with the small groups ministry, which is something that was completely out of my comfort zone. I usually work with a lot of young people and youth, so this is something completely different. I was working with adults, and and the small groups as well. Like I never really understood what goes into a small group. But with Saddleback, I was kind of working with the hosts of the small groups who were running gatherings to kind of teach them what an effective small group looks like. Because Saddleback, obviously, a lot of people know that they kind of initiate the 5 purposes, which is the fellowship, discipleship, ministry, worship, and evangelism. And through these gatherings, they kind of teach small groups how they can grow together in all of these different purposes, because these are biblical purposes. And they wanted to allow each and every person in the congregation to grow. So for me, it was kind of learning how the church works with such a large amount of people in order to allow them to all to grow. Because the congregation sizes were about 3,000 each service, and there was about 4 over the weekend. So a lot of the time people can get lost in their service. So having the small groups there is kind of there to show a more intimate with each other and have a community so they can be supported and to grow. And so it's such a new experience that I've never had before. So it was quite exciting and throwing me out completely out of my comfort zone.
Wow, sounds really interesting. I'm sorry it was all cut short for you, but it sounds like even in that short time you've kind of gained such a lot. Brilliant. So
Yeah.
I know you're in your third year of uni and you've obviously had to come home right now like lots of students. So what's the next bit looking like for you? Will you anticipate still learning? Is there still going to be teaching going on? How does the next few months pan out? And what kind of is the future for you?
So it's kind of all a little bit unsure at the moment, because this is completely new, so no one's experienced it before. But as it stands at the moment, as my university and a lot of other universities, we aren't going back to the campus, and we are going to be studying all at home, all online. So it's a whole new experience. We're going to have our lectures all online. Everything will be submitted either by post or online. So it's just going to be, everything is still at the moment going exactly the same as it should be. So we'll still be getting our grades the same, but it's still quite a little bit unknown because obviously we are going to have to adapt to learning from online resources rather than being able to have a full library that we can study from. So it's just a whole different experience. And obviously this is my last term, so I'm going to be finishing. So it's a bit of a shame that it's coming to an abrupt end. But luckily for me, my graduation is in October. So I'm just praying and hoping that by the time we get to October, this kind of lockdown and restrictions would have gone by then. So I'll be able to graduate. Because a lot of people, we are able to graduate, but we aren't able to have that ceremony. So we can't have the celebration to finish. So I know a lot of people are in it's a bit of a weird time where we don't really know what's going to happen this next term. But yeah, it's something that we're not worrying about it because we know that everything's going to be fine, everything's going its way. And in terms of after I finish, again, that's nothing set into stone because obviously everywhere's closed at the moment, so we don't know what it's going to look like. But for me, the plan at the moment is to go back to Saddleback where I was and take a bit of a gap, like a gap year, for instance, and go work for them again, which is something that will be really exciting to go back and do what I was doing before. And so it's not really, so what I've done already at Saddleback, I haven't really finished because I'm going to be going back if the restrictions are lifted, obviously. So yeah, that's what's going to look like after I finish at Moorlands.
Great, that does sound really exciting. And I guess you find yourself in the same position as so many students right now, whether that be GCSE students, A levels, uni people, just that this weirdness of something that was going to carry on in one way and come to an end, and that whole celebratory kind of like we're finished, that's all kind of changed so much, hasn't it? I just wonder for you how your faith plays out in this when something unexpected comes along. What does being a Christian look like for you in this?
Yeah, so usually I think with a lot of people, because it's such a big thing that's going on, I think people tend to worry quite a lot and it's like they're quite fearful of what's going to happen. But for me, I don't really feel like I've worried a lot at all about it because things change all the time. And being a Christian, we know that we can just trust in God that this is all for His plan. And no matter what happens, even if it is a scary, worry time, that God's in play at this and that His plan will come. So when things change, I tend to not worry about them. I just think that this is just a different change. This is just a different thing. Something great will come out at the end of this. And something that I've already seen, like when you hear the people clapping for the NHS, like people are now starting to be more appreciative of the key workers in this country. So it's bringing to light all these things that we never really saw in the first place. So out of everything bad, there can be quite a lot of good things at the same time. So as a Christian, we just don't worry because it's all in God's hand, that He's going to take us to where He wants us to be, and it's all going to work out for its good in the end.
Great. I'd so agree. Yeah, I know myself. I'm learning new stuff, and God is teaching me and shaping me through this. There'll be people watching this that will simply be interested in what's going on for you, but there will be also a lot of people that would be keen to pray for you, and pray generally for young adults that have gone through this very strange time. What would you say to those people? What would it be helpful for folk to pray for you, just as we finish?
I think so. When I was thinking about this, there's probably like two things that will come to mind really. One is that it's just this whole new norm, that we are going through this new kind of normality that we have to get used to, and it's a big change. So as much as I said we don't worry about it, it's one thing where we kind of want to know where it's going. So we're trying to adapt to the best of our ability, and we don't want things to be affected too badly by this. So it's kind of a praying that we adapt to this new norm well, and we accept it well, rather than just going it worrying and scared. So yeah, just praying for this new norm. And then personally, for like myself, and for I know a lot of people that are finishing their degrees in this third year, it's just praying for, because at the moment I don't have a job, and a lot of other people don't have a job. So it's these kind of this next time of what's next, and how we're going to get this finance to be able to get through this next time, because we're going to be finishing in like May or June with a lot of people. And we're going to go into the summer holidays. Well, what would have been the summer holidays, and we don't have any ways supporting ourselves with finances. So it's just those kind of things, praying for this new norm and what's next with these jobs and finances, so we can support ourselves as well.
Great, that's so great. Thanks so much. It's been so good to talk to you, and I think that's really helpful to know the things that we could pray for you. But yeah, I'm going to close now. I'm just going to thank you so much for being with us, and yeah, have a good day and enjoy the sunshine. Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you. Bye.
Find it.